Hello, my name is Caitlin, and welcome back to the podcast. If this is your first time, welcome, and buckle up. Um, no, um, some people may notice I got new glasses. They are rainbow. I'm very excited about them. They make me very happy. Um, my Christmas gift to myself this year was Vision. Um, yeah. They're really big, and I love big glasses because then I have, like, except for, like, the very edge of my periphery, like, everything is the correct focus. So I really like big lenses. I don't like having big gaps in my periphery where I'm like, I can't see anything. Um, so yeah, that was my little tangent about glasses. Today I'm going to talk about the holidays because today is Christmas Eve, and uh, it's crazy that it's already here. I feel like it always sneaks up on me though. I'm playing with my skirt. Oh my god. So, but first I'll do a little recap because I know I've not been on in like this is like the fourth day. So, anyways, it's been a while. Um, Thursday, I went to birthday tea for my friend that I've known since I was 5, which is crazy. I've known her for like 20 years, which is just insane to me. Um, but it was really nice, and I got to tell people that because all of her friends were like, "Who are you? I don't know you," because we don't really like have we don't like work at the same place or like have the same hobbies necessarily or like her whatever. So like a lot of these people work with her. And so it was like work friends and then like 3 other people and 2 of them were me and my sister. So it was yeah, it was fun. Um but it was nice. It was like this mansion in DC that has like afternoon tea um, and a greenhouse and stuff. So it was beautiful. Um, I cause I noticed I noticed my autism while I was there. Um, and it was really funny to me. And instead of embarrassing or well, I mean only a tiny bit, but I was pretty um self-accepting, I think. And I think it was helpful because I knew that like she is very accepting, and so I kind of like had permission to be myself because I know that she would be supportive of me. And anyways, um, I know that that's not. I don't. I know I don't need permission, but for some reason I still like feel like yeah. Anyways, I one of the other people, it was like a joint birthday. One of the other people were homeschooled as well, which I thought was really interesting and funny, and just you don't meet a ton of people, I feel like, out and about that were homeschooled. Um, I met a lot of them when I was a kid because I went to groups that like focused on that. So it was pretty cool to see adults that aren't like afraid to admit that they were homeschooled either. Because yeah, I know that there are like some bad experiences. So, but my favorite part was petting plants. Um, it was, I really enjoy the fact that we can just like laugh about neurodivergence when I'm around her. Like, um, Oh, I was just like standing in the corner playing with Spanish moss because that is like the most satisfying textured plant I've ever felt. Um, and they had a ton of it, and it was all just like hanging, and I was just going like this. Like it's very springy and delicate, and I was just kind of like running my fingers through it gently, and it was the best thing. And she was like, "Are you just stimming in the corner?" I was like, "Yes." And then she started doing it. She's like, "Oh, this is really nice." So, and then I was just going around taking pictures of plants, and they were all like getting pictures of themselves. And I was just like, nah, I'm gonna go take pictures of the plants and like touch more plants. So that's what I did. They did get me in a few photos, but I really like, I don't dislike photos. I'm not like, oh yeah, get a picture of me here. I'm like, here I am. Like, what do I do? You tell me what to do. Because I don't know. I'm not like, I want pictures of me. I don't know. But they got some good pictures and it was funny. Um, we also have very opposing aesthetics. She was wearing this like, I guess the brand is Selkie, but like, you know, high um waistline, very like short, poofy, like pastel rainbow fairy-like dress. And I was wearing my like flared sleeve, long sleeve, lace front, um, well, you saw the other day, like lace front, shirt that looked kind of witchy, and then I was wearing, you couldn't see this part, but I was wearing like flared, um, yoga pants, kind of. Um, so it had like flares on the sleeves and on my calves, and then I was wearing like these slightly like pointed booties with uh, some flowers on them, but you couldn't really see the flowers, so because the pants were too long, but it didn't really matter to me. I was just trying to be like cute, but also not totally uncomfortable, and it was the shoes hurt by the end of the day. But what can you do? I was trying to be cute, which I don't do that often. Today I'm also gonna kind of cute, but like in a I still have to work all day kind of way. Stretchy dress. Um, yeah. But it's Christmas Eve, so I thought I should look a little bit festive with the red. I don't know. I don't know. That's something that I'm gonna be talking about today. Um, but that whole day went really well. I actually didn't feel super drained by that experience, and I think that's because I was kind of able to be myself. Like I felt really unmasked for the most part. Mm. It's gotten to the part of the season where not only am I having drainage, but it's so dry that I'm also getting bloody noses. So that's great. Um, I have medically diagnosed thin skin. The ENT told me that. When I was like, I keep having bloody noses. Do we need to just like, is there like one blood vessel in there that just like needs cauterized or something? And he was like, no, you just got a lot and like very thin skin. So just be very gentle and put like moisturizing stuff in there. I'm like, are you serious? I have to moisturize the inside of my nose. The sensory nightmare of that. I hate it. Like Q-tip with like Neosporin. It's like, ugh, no, please stop. But you know, you do what you gotta do to not bleed out of your face. Jeez. Um, but at least I had a good time over there, and I was able to just be myself, and I just kind of walked away when they were taking photos, and I was not interested in it, and they weren't like, because they like all wanted to get photos of themselves and photos with like a couple people here and there, and I was like, well, I don't know anyone here other than my sister and like two people, like the birthday girl and her sister. Like those are the only people I knew. So I was like, you guys can do that and have fun, and I'm gonna go over here and have fun looking at all the plants and petting the fuzzy ones. Not touching the succulents or the cacti because I've done that many times, and then I'm like, oh damn, I got needles in my fingers. So, not doing that. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't get any needles in my fingers. Sorry, botanical gardens. I touched all of your plants. But I just can't help it. When I see a plant, I want to touch it. And not in like I've like never damaged a plant, like a gardens or anything. Just very gently. I just want to feel what the texture. I'm very sensory seeking in that way. When it comes to plants. But yeah, it's holidays, man. Yesterday was cool, I guess. I was still a little bit like we did a lot. I was over at my partner's mom and stepdad's house, which is where I guess all of his stuff is. So, like, I don't know. Most of the time we're over at my house, but like all of the belongings are at that house. So, anyways, it's just a little further from work, so we tend to sleep at my house so that we can get to work with a shorter commute. But I was over there because we normally stay the weekend over there just because we don't have to go to work, so we can stay over there and not really worry about it. And so I was over there, and my partner really likes to play airsoft, and that's one of their, I would say it's their special interest. Definitely right now. Like hasn't even played any video games in like weeks because just like messing with airsoft stuff has become my special interest, and I think it's awesome. I think it's adorable. One day, I think it was Friday. I was off work on Friday because I had a doctor's appointment, so I had to go to like Annapolis, which if you're like in the DMV area, it's I work in Alexandria, which is in Virginia. Annapolis is like on the other side of the Beltway in Maryland, and I actually live like south of the Beltway. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna try to go to work and then cut over for like an hour or so, and then try to go back to work and then go home. Like I'm not doing all that. I'm like, no, nope. Plus, I'm supposed to lay down after the appointments anyways. My atlas was out, which is the top vertebrae of my spine, which just messes everything up. I have a hard time catching myself not cursing. But yeah, it just messes everything up. And apparently it was out, and I was a little surprised this time, which I'm normally like, oh yeah, no, it's out, I can tell. So, I don't know, that was weird. But, I mean, I'm not terribly surprised. It happens a lot. The hypermobility things just come out all the time. And he was checking my back and was like, your back looks different. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Or is it just, I think it was just different. It was just like, huh, you're out in places you're not normally out. Um, yeah, I don't know. Hypermobility is weird like that. Um, just anything can come out at any time, and you just don't know, and it's really freaking annoying. But whatever. Um, so like I came back from that, and my partner got off at a normal time, and so they got home. He got home and like was I did that because of myself, not because of this, what I'm talking about at all. And it was like 6 o'clock or something, and I hadn't really heard anything in like a few hours. I was like, I wonder if he fell asleep. Maybe I should call and like, I was thinking it takes a half hour to get over to my house from his house, and then I'm like, well, if he's asleep, he's probably gonna want to eat dinner. So I'll like call him and try and wake him up and get him over here. And I called and nothing. I was like, oh, must definitely be asleep then, because didn't even see the phone ring. And then I called back in like 15 minutes because I'm like, try again. It's getting late. And turns out no sleeping involved. Not even a little bit. Didn't even shower. Like, it's just like, oh, I was just messing with my airsoft stuff. I'm cleaning up now. I'll be over soon. Like, are you mad at me? I was like, no, I am not mad. I am not upset at you at all. I just thought you were asleep and would like to be woken up by now. That's all. Um, and then I got off the phone and was like, oh my god, so adorable. I just thought that was so cute. Because I want to be able to be just like unashamed. Why would I shame someone for their special interest like that? That's just, I would never. And it's only if it were like I had plans and like you needed to be here by a specific time and then you still didn't, then I would maybe be a little annoyed. Um, but like there were no plans. I was just like, I didn't want you to sleep and then not be able to sleep tonight. So yeah, it was really funny to me. Um, and I just really enjoy that aspect of my partner. It makes me really happy that we both are like this. And just like seeing his traits in different ways makes me happy. Um, and then yesterday, I just made cookies with his mom all day. Cookies, decorated their tree, and made mochi, not like mochi, mung bean candies, and some other stuff, because we can't ever decide on just one thing to do. So we spent all day doing that kind of stuff, which was really fun because I don't normally have the time nor energy to do any of that. So I was feeling it though towards the end of the day. I was like, oh, we did too much. But it was still really nice and I had a good time. And because I know that I don't have a full week of work, then I felt like I could do a little bit more over the weekend, um, because I know that I'm not going to be expending as much this week. So this is my only full day of work this week. Then I have a half day tomorrow. But yeah, it should be good. But holidays, yeah. There's a lot of expectations around holidays that I don't really particularly like. Also, I don't either particularly like the religious aspects of Christmas. Um, I there's a lot of things that are tough for me to get on board with, I would say. You got the expectations of seeing all of your family because for some reason you have to see everyone, and that's just not possible for a lot of people. And also, it's like the one guaranteed vacation that you get a year that you don't have to like pay for extensively when it comes to like work normally. Like if you have a job that lets you have off for certain holiday things where like you're allowed to take off more time, like it's the one thing that like most companies are like, oh yeah, you probably want a couple of days off, and it's not like counted against you. Not saying that my company is like that, but I just know for like pretty much everybody, you're allowed to take a couple of days off surrounding the holidays. Now, not everyone, and I know retail definitely can be more challenging when it comes to that, but you know, a lot of times people will move to like a holiday schedule and have a more pared down um, crew for the holiday week. So, because Christmas falls on a Wednesday, a lot of people are taking off the whole week. Traffic today was fantastic because nobody wants to work this week. Um, so that was nice. I definitely appreciated that. I left at like 6:45 and got here at like 7:20. Normally, it takes me an hour to an hour and 20 to get here. So that was nice. Purely traffic. It's just traffic. It's insane, and I don't want to do it anymore. Um, I'm gonna move out to the sticks and never see anyone again, and that'll be fine with me. And I'm just gonna get some cats and a couple dogs, and you know, I'm just gonna do that. Become a feral housewife, as I like to say. I mean, you can have a domestic one, and that means you can have a feral one, and that would definitely be me. So, yeah, holidays are tough. You're expected to see everybody, and that's just not possible. Like, you get like 3 days, maybe, if you're lucky. You get like 3 days. If you're really lucky, like this week, you get the whole week off. How are you going to see everybody when they live in different states? They live all over the place. They've got their own schedules of when they're off or when they're available. And everybody's got their own other families. Like, you know, you've got cousins and stuff, but then they have their cousins and their like immediate family that they want to spend time with. There's just like so many things. I swear. So like that part of it never really made sense to me either. It's like, okay, either you all decide to plan to get together, or it's just not going to happen. And why make it a big deal? Like, spend time with your immediate family and see the other family when you're able to. Mm. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me why there's so much pressure on this one day or this one week to see everybody when you just probably saw some of them for Thanksgiving. Like this year I haven't been able to because my mom's not able to go anywhere, so we just have it. But honestly, it's been the nicest holiday season I've ever had when it comes to just not there's the expectation to see people wasn't there. It's like, oh, she can't, sorry. we're not doing anything. Like, we're gonna stay home and do our own thing, and it was really, really nice. And I'm happy about that. The only thing I'm doing for Christmas that's 100% sure is I'm going over to the other house, and we're gonna have Christmas Eve with my partner and his mom and grandmother, most likely, and stepdad, and that's it. And this past weekend, on Saturday, we saw his dad. So, we saw the family that we need to see. My partner's brother lives very far away, so in Switzerland, actually, which is awesome, and I cannot wait to go back. I went there, and then I cried for days when I came home because I was like, man, I have to live here. Um, it was a crisis. I had a crisis. I was so depressed. Um, so anyways, if anybody knows how to get me into Switzerland permanently, let me know. Uh, yeah. But side note there. So we're just gonna FaceTime or something on Christmas to say hi to them. But like, I don't know, there's no pressure really to go anywhere. The only thing is like maybe going to see my dad's parents, and like I'm like, my mom still can't go anywhere, so if my dad wants to go, I'll stay home. Like, I just saw them a little while ago. We went out to lunch when we were out there for a concert. So it's like, I'm not feeling the pressure to go see all of these people and then wear myself out on the only, like, big vacation that I get during this season. Because, like, sometimes you get a summer vacation that you plan out and have to take off work for and pay for, essentially. But this is like the other end of the other end of the year. So I feel like you really need a break more often than just once a year. Like, that's not enough for me. So having this break, I want it to actually feel like a break. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm running around doing too much and then I get back into work and then I'm like, oh man, I'm so burnt out. I can't do this. I mean, you know how I was feeling. I still feel that way. Like, yesterday I was like, I think it's this bad sign, but I would be kind of like, right now, I feel like I would be totally fine never going back to my job. Which is hard to say when I really do like the people here. Like, I would miss people eventually. But I think it would take a couple months, at least a month, for me to be like, oh yeah, those people. Like, I feel like that's a bad sign. I feel like that means I'm really, like, I've overdone it here. And I'm just burning out. I am losing all dopamine that I'm getting from this job. No, seriously though. And, uh, yeah, it's a struggle, and I don't want to feel that way, but at least, so I have been kind of separating myself over the past few years from the religious aspects of the holiday. Because for me, I grew up very religious, very Christian. My mom's dad was a pastor, and her brother was also a pastor, and I think he still is. I don't know exactly what he does now, but ministers all over the place. And so, and on my dad's side of the family, not ministers, but they are also, you know, religious and definitely, you know, believe that way. And um, it's definitely been difficult. It's been difficult because my mom's family, well, her dad, and then eventually her mom and family, immediate family, are Seventh-day Adventists, which kind of culty. Um, But, they were like not approving of my dad originally because he wasn't the right kind of Christian, and like there's issues throughout my whole life where they've been like, well, my grandfather has been like, you aren't the right denomination, or you're going to that school, like that school's not the right type of Christian school to go to, and you're going to that church, that's not a Seventh-day Adventist church. Like, oh god, just like it made no sense to me. I'm like, I don't think that God really cares what day that you worship him on, as long as you worship him, right? Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, yeah. Anyways, now I am not religious at all. I would say I'm very much agnostic. And a lot of that is because of my family. I'm like, you did this to yourself. No, I'm like really, really grateful that I got out of that. And that I don't have all of these internalized pressures around religion, because holy crap. I grew up with some crazy things in my brain, and I'm still kind of recovering from it. But that also means that it's a bit triggering too when it's all like brought up again, and it's like, especially Christmas time, like all of the songs and everything, they're all so religious based. And I remember my childhood was almost entirely consumed with church. If I wasn't doing homework, I was at church. Like 3 days a week, I was at church, and then I was in the band, and then I was playing church music, and then I was just like, it consumed my life outside of school, which, as I've already talked about, I focused really, really hard on school, but I also focused really, really hard on church, and those are like the two things in my entire life. And that's probably why I had all of these like creative outlets that I ended up starting. I had to get it out somehow. I was just like, I'm feeling very stifled all the time by all of these things, and all of these rules and pressures, and I have to be a certain way, and I don't know how to be a certain way, and it's just like, ugh. I have a lot of unsavory feelings when it comes to my religious upbringing. And I think that's the place where I really first started heavily masking. So there's a lot of reasons why it's hard for me to just be reminded of that. I just I don't believe those things anymore, and it's like I can't sing the songs that are like highly religious. There's plenty of Christmas songs that aren't, but there's enough of them that are. I mean, it's what Christmas is about, and so it's just like I'm just reminded of all of those beliefs that really were damaging to me, that I used to hold so strongly, that it's like it's really tough for me to just have that constantly around. And that's one thing that my partner can't relate to. Because they were raised really not really religious. I mean, his dad is was born in Vietnam, and was never a Christian. So was just totally different upbringing than me. So in that way, it can be a little bit isolating, in like I'm having these reactions to these songs, and I'm feeling like a certain way about it, and my partner can't relate at all. Doesn't know how to, like, he can understand why I feel that way, Um, but so, sometimes I'm like, um, and he really likes Christmas and Christmas music, and I get why, as a non-religious person, you would be able to detach from that a bit. But when you are so deeply indoctrinated as a child, it can be really hard to be reminded of that. So yeah, if you were like me, um, then I understand, and I know how tough it can be coming out of that. And maybe you're not out of it. Maybe you are struggling with it and you still don't know how you feel or what you believe, and maybe you don't come to the same conclusions that I do. My conclusion is I don't think I'm smart enough to know. So, yeah, there might be something out there. I think that we're all like connected deeply, not just humans, but all of nature. I think everything is intertwined and there's nothing truly individual. But I don't have like I don't know how things like the beginning of the world and the universe and all of those like big conceptual things. Like, I don't think I will ever know in my tiny human brain. So, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need to pretend that I know something that there's no possible way of knowing. And I think that's what really frustrates me about religion is like, you're so certain. You're so certain. But so are all of the other religions. They're so certain too. Who's right? I don't know. I don't think any of you are right. Not completely. So, yeah. It's like somebody made it up. One day, a long time ago, somebody made your religion up. There you go. It was some dude. Most likely a dude, unfortunately. Some dude made up your religion. Said it was God. A lot of people hear voices that they think are God, and a lot of them end up in hospitals and psych wards. So, I'm just saying. How are we to know that those people actually heard the voice of God? Like, mm, mm, it just makes me uncomfortable. It makes me wonder about psychiatric conditions. I don't know. It's just, it's not that there aren't any helpful things in a lot of religious stories, in multiple different religions. A lot of the times, it's trying to put into words these ethical standards that we can't really describe why we have them or why we feel this way, so we put it in the context of religion. And I feel like you can have those things without putting them in the context of religion. I like to frame it more in a natural, like, nature-centered sort of way. That's my personal preference. It makes me feel more comfortable and just something that I prefer, I enjoy. So, that's what I choose to believe. I mean, that's the thing that I see the most evidence of when it comes to what little we do know, scientifically speaking. But again, we don't know that much. Like, we study life to understand it, but we really don't know. Like, we think that we're so smart as a human race. We think that we're so intelligent, but there's the vastness of everything. I just don't think we can possibly ever understand it. So, to be so certain makes me uncomfortable. So, thankfully, I don't have to have a ton of conversations with my family anymore. They just like don't really bring it up specifically to me, but like also when they do talk about religion, I kind of just let them go. You know, what good does it do for me to tell somebody, "Oh, I don't believe that," or if they're like, especially when they're trying to comfort you, like, or they're trying to be kind. Does it really do any good to be like, no, actually, can you not? Like, I get it. You're totally valid in saying that, if that is what you need to say. Like, I'm not saying that anybody should ever feel bad about putting boundaries on what people can say to you, or, like what you want to talk about when it comes to religion. Not at all saying that. I'm saying personally, with my personal family experiences, I prefer to just let it go. It doesn't help me to try and argue with them or change their mind or even necessarily make my point of view known, because I know it doesn't really matter to them. Or, like, if it did, it would just make them upset. And that's kind of what bothers me about religion in general, is like you have all of these things you're so certain of, and then as soon as somebody thinks something different of you, then you're like sad for them because you think that they're going to this imaginary place of punishment, which doesn't even exist because there's no evidence of it. And you just think that it's there because it's literally there to scare people into believing. It's like when people invented Krampus to scare children into being good all year so they don't get kidnapped by this, goat demon. That's basically exactly what Satan is. Somebody made him up to try and scare you into being a certain way and not doing certain things. It's made up. It's not real. Like, somebody made it up one day, and then we just kind of went with it. Like everything in life. So, it's like, don't feel bad for me. I'm not afraid. And I'm not sad. Like, I don't want this. So, I just choose not to even bring it up. It doesn't matter that much to me. I know what I believe, and somebody, like, talking to me about what they believe isn't gonna, like, deeply unsettle me. Now, saying that, after just saying that the songs can kind of get to me, yeah, it's because everybody's singing them and they expect me to sing them, and I don't want to sing them because I used to actually sing them in a place of like devotion and worship to this thing that doesn't exist to me anymore. That, like, the Christian God that I used to believe in, I no longer believe in at all. And so it's like, I don't want to sing these songs of worship to this deity that I don't believe in. Like, I don't want to do that. You can do that. I'm cool with that. I'm not going to. So don't expect me to be like, oh, yay, I love this song. Like, I'm not gonna. Just not gonna. So, yeah. Yeah, that's my thoughts. And now that I've talked your ear off for 45 minutes, jeez. I would like to have another episode about religion. If anybody has, I've realized, especially in the neurodivergent community, there tends to be a lot of this viewpoint of like, somebody just made this up one day, and why do we all just go along with it? Like, because it's the same with social constructs, like they were made by somebody and we just decided to all do the same thing. Like, I don't know when this happened or why. And why do we still do it? And like, things don't make sense. So if you're neurodivergent and also unconventional in your religious perspectives, you're not alone, and I'd like to talk to you, even if your viewpoint is totally different than mine. Again, I don't claim to know everything when it comes to religion and really like any of that. Like I don't know. I know what works for me and when I think about those things, but like I really like hearing other people's perspectives. If you're just gonna comment and tell me that I'm wrong, though, that's kind of like I don't want that either. But if you're open to having like an actual discussion, or you want to just like tell me about how you believe, then you know, totally down with that. I love hearing other people's perspectives as long as they're not trying to force them on me. So, yeah. Um, I hope that you're able to have a good holiday and whatever you do with that, you may not even celebrate Christmas, and that's totally fine, but I hope you at least get to enjoy a day off or something, just, you know, relaxing and taking care of yourself. Like, that's most important to me, um, is just being able to take care of yourself. And so, I hope you're able to do that. I might be on tomorrow, it just depends, probably. I got a half day tomorrow, so I'm super excited. I just want to be home. My partner's off all week, and I don't really want to be here. But it's gonna be slow today because who wants to work this week? I feel like half the people that are normally here aren't gonna be here, so it's gonna be a slow week. I'm wearing my slippers. They look like boots, so it's fine. But yeah, I am in vacation mode. I'm just still at work, and so it's gonna be fun. Gonna have a good day. Traffic's gonna be hopefully not too bad. We'll see. Could be a lot of shopping traffic at that time of day, though. Ugh. That's another thing. I'll get into that tomorrow. Consumerism rampant. It's nauseating. But yeah. I'm done talking now, so I'm gonna say bye and always remember that you are enough.